Before 1923 made him a household name, Brandon Sklenar was on the edge of walking away from Hollywood for good. No fame, no red carpets, just years of rejection, dead-end roles, and a dream that seemed like it might never happen. But what changed, and how did one role flip everything overnight? Today, we're diving deep into the untold story of Brandon Sklenar, the grind, the heartbreak, and the wild twist of fate that turned a struggling actor into a global sensation. Trust me, this is the Brandon Sklenar story you haven't heard. And by the end, you'll see why fans are calling him one of the most inspiring stars of our time. Early career rejections and almost quitting acting before Brandon Sklenar became the brooding, battle-worn Spencer Dutton in 1923, he was just another name on a casting sheet, one of hundreds grinding it out in Hollywood. In those early days, Sklenar faced a brutal pattern that crushes most rising actors: endless auditions, polite rejections, and the soul-crushing silence that follows a "we'll be in touch." He wasn't handed anything. In fact, there were moments he couldn't even land callbacks for roles that seemed beneath his talent. For years, it was a balancing act between chasing a dream and wondering if that dream was chasing him out the door. In a few rare interviews, Sklenar has hinted that he came dangerously close to quitting acting altogether. The passion was there, but the phone wasn't ringing. His self-worth took a hit, especially watching his peers land roles while he scraped by doing odd jobs just to afford rent. One particular moment stands out. After being passed over for a role he was sure would be his breakthrough, Brandon reportedly told a friend that maybe it was time to let go, that he was tired of acting for free. That low point became a quiet turning point. Rather than walk away, he leaned in even harder. What makes Sklenar's story so compelling isn't just that he finally made it, it's that he nearly didn't. The man we now see commanding the screen in 1923 was once invisible to the industry. And yet, it's that rejection, that constant knocking on closed doors, that carved the edge into his performances. Brandon Sklenar didn't just earn Spencer Dutton, he fought for him, bled for him, and almost gave up before the opportunity arrived. His journey is a powerful reminder that sometimes the silence before the breakthrough is the loudest test of all. The projects that went nowhere. Before 1923 catapulted him into mainstream success, Brandon Sklenar had already been quietly hustling in the background of Hollywood, taking roles in indie films, small TV appearances, and passion projects that never saw the light of day. Some of these early gigs had promise, well-written scripts, talented crews, even festival buzz. But like many rising stars, Brandon found himself stuck in a frustrating cycle, investing time and heart into roles that ultimately fizzled out due to poor distribution, financial issues, or simply bad timing. These weren't just jobs to him, they were stepping stones that vanished beneath his feet. One example was an ambitious indie drama he shot in the late 2000s and 2010s that ended up shelved after post-production ran out of funding. The role was intense, layered, and possibly award-worthy, but no one ever saw it. Another was a promising TV pilot with a respected network that was quietly killed after testing poorly with focus groups. Brandon later hinted that the pilot's cancellation was a gut punch, as he had already mentally prepared for the next chapter it promised. These almost opportunities left emotional scars, but they also shaped the raw, grounded energy fans now associate with his performance as Spencer Dutton. What's wild is that many of those failed projects are exactly what sharpened his skills. He learned how to deliver under pressure, how to carry a scene even when the budget was tight, and how to stay resilient when the cameras stopped rolling for good. While most fans only see the polished final product of 1923, it's these behind-the-scenes heartbreaks that gave Brandon his quiet edge. In a way, the roles that never aired helped prepare him for the one that changed his life, and made sure that when the world finally watched, he was undeniable. Behind the scenes, grind years of hustling. Long before Brandon Sklenar was sharing the screen with Harrison Ford in 1923, he was living a life that looked nothing like the glamour of Hollywood. Picture this: juggling multiple side jobs, memorizing lines between shifts, and crashing auditions across town with barely enough gas in his tank. Sklenar's early years were the definition of hustle. No red carpets, no trailers, just relentless drive. He's talked about crashing on couches, working late nights bartending, and even editing audition tapes on borrowed equipment. This was the grind most fans never see, the unglamorous climb where every yes was buried under 100 no's. But it wasn't just the survival jobs that made it tough. It was the emotional toll of pouring everything into a dream that offered no guarantees. Sklenar's friends were moving on, starting families, getting stable careers, while he was stuck in the loop of almost making it. He often found himself auditioning for roles he was perfect for, only to be ghosted by casting directors or replaced by someone with a bigger name. Still, he kept showing up. One casting assistant later said that Brandon had a work ethic that stood out. You could tell he wasn't just acting, he was surviving. That survival instinct is what forged the actor fans now know and love. When Brandon finally got the call for 1923, he wasn't some fresh-faced rookie. He was a battle-tested performer who had fought tooth and nail to be ready for a moment like that. Every bit of grit, charm, and pain we see in Spencer Dutton is layered with years of real-world struggle. Sklenar didn't just land a breakout role, he earned it the hard way. His behind-the-scenes grind wasn't just part of his story, it is his superpower. How he landed 1923. Landing the role of Spencer Dutton in 1923 wasn't just a casting call, it was a career-defining moment that changed everything overnight. But this wasn't one of those roles handed out by Hollywood connections. Sklenar had to fight for it. Reports say the audition process was intense. Taylor Sheridan was searching for someone who could bring both a physical edge and emotional depth to the role. Brandon, still grinding his way through small gigs and indie films, walked into that room with nothing to lose and delivered a performance so raw, so grounded, it left the casting team stunned. Sheridan, known for being fiercely selective with his leads, saw something in Sklenar that others had overlooked for years. Not just a good-looking actor, but someone who could carry a complex, haunted character across continents, decades, and emotional extremes. Within weeks, Brandon had gone from near anonymity to filming scenes in Africa alongside acting giants like Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. 1923 wasn't just another gig. It was an open door into an entirely different league of storytelling and a level of visibility Sklenar had never known. And just like that, the years of silent auditions, short films, and one-off roles had purpose. 1923 became more than a turning point. It was validation. Suddenly, Hollywood insiders were saying his name. Fans were building online communities around Spencer and Alexandra, and Brandon Sklenar had officially become a breakout star. That one role, that one moment, flipped the script, transforming him from a behind-the-scenes hustler into one of the faces of television's most powerful storytelling universe. Why his story resonates. Brandon Sklenar's rise isn't just another Hollywood success story. It's a reflection of every person who's ever fought for something when the odds weren't in their favor. Fans aren't just drawn to Spencer Dutton because of the action or romance. They're drawn to the authenticity behind the man who plays him. Sklenar's years of rejection, self-doubt, and relentless hustle hit home for anyone who's ever dreamed big, but had the world tell them, not yet. His story is a quiet kind of inspiration, one that doesn't scream, but lingers long after the credits roll. What makes Brandon different is how real he feels. He's not flashy, he's not chasing headlines, he's just doing the work and doing it well. In an age where fame often feels manufactured, his grounded, no-nonsense attitude stands out. Fans see in him someone who earned every moment on screen, and that makes them root for him even harder. Whether it's through interviews, behind-the-scenes clips, or his layered portrayal of Spencer, there's a sense of humility that makes people connect. He's proof that good things really do come to those who don't give up. In many ways, Sklenar's journey is bigger than just one role. It represents the long game, the idea that success isn't always instant, but when it comes, it's all the sweeter for it. For fans who followed his rise, Brandon is more than just a breakout star. He's a symbol of quiet persistence, passion without ego, and the reward of sticking to your path even when no one's watching. That's why his story matters. That's why it resonates. Because beneath the cowboy hat and rugged charm is a story that feels a little like all of ours. Brandon Sklenar didn't just survive Hollywood, he outlasted it. And now, from quiet indie roles to leading one of the most powerful stories in the Yellowstone universe, he's proof that persistence still matters. If his journey hit you like it hit me, if you've ever chased something no one else believed in, then hit that like button, drop a comment with your favorite Brandon moment, and make sure you're subscribed for more stories just like this. Because this is just the beginning. Sklenar's next chapter is coming, and we'll be here to watch it unfold together.